millions of people, one database, and a claim that they were nearly declared dead while still alive. A whistleblower reveals a plan that could have erased millions of people on paper. Now the question hits Washington. How far did this really go? A whistleblower account is raising serious questions about the handling of sensitive government data inside the United States. At the center of the controversy are allegations that millions of living people could have been wrongly classified as dead as part of immigration enforcement efforts, potentially cutting them off from the financial system and essential services. A former senior Social Security Administration executive has alleged that officials considered a plan to classify 2.7 million living individuals as deceased in government records, The Washington Post reported. According to Jeremiah Schofield, a former agency official with 25 years of experience who helped oversee information technology modernization efforts, the proposal would have used the Social Security Administration's Death Master file, a database widely relied upon by banks, employers, and government agencies to determine whether a person is alive. Schofield said he refused to help implement the plan after agency lawyers warned that falsely marking living people as dead could violate federal law. In a 49-page whistleblower disclosure submitted to the Senate Finance Committee and the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, Schofield stated that he examined a sample of individuals from the proposed list and found that they were all alive. According to Schofield,
the sample included US citizens, lawful permanent residents, teenagers, and senior citizens, including a widow receiving survivor benefits.
However, the Social Security Administration has denied that any list of 2.7 million names was added to the Death Master file. In a written statement, the agency said,
"We maintain strict internal controls and procedures to protect the accuracy and integrity of our records."
The disclosure also details concerns about the role of officials associated with the Department of Government Efficiency, commonly known as DOGE, and their access to sensitive government databases. Schofield alleged that during one meeting, a DOGE official working with the Department of Homeland Security described a goal of making immigrants so financially vulnerable that they would either leave the country voluntarily or appear at Social Security offices where they could be arrested, Schofield told the Post.
"That was one of the most disappointing calls I've been in my 25-year career. I was shocked. I couldn't believe what I was hearing."
The controversy follows a smaller operation reported last year, in which approximately 6,100 immigrants were placed into the Death Master file. Some later appeared at Social Security offices to prove they were alive and were subsequently restored to agency records. Being listed in the database as deceased can have severe consequences. Individuals may lose access to bank accounts, credit, wages, insurance, and government benefits. The whistleblower complaint also references broader concerns regarding access to personal information. Two other whistleblowers have previously raised allegations involving the handling and sharing of Americans' data by DOGE personnel. Schofield said he initially welcomed DOGE officials when they arrived at Social Security headquarters, believing they would help modernize outdated systems. However, he later became concerned about their access to sensitive databases and the way information was being handled. The allegations have prompted sharp criticism from Democratic lawmakers. Senators Elizabeth Warren and Richard Blumenthal have demanded answers and launched inquiries into the matter. Meanwhile, the Trump administration has stated in a recent court filing that DOGE personnel no longer have access to Social Security data and that there are no plans to bring them back. As investigations continue, the disclosures have intensified scrutiny over the use of government databases, data privacy, and the potential consequences of administrative actions affecting millions of people.
US President Donald Trump's Department of Government Efficiency was only a little bit successful, Tesla CEO Elon Musk said on a podcast on December 9th, adding that he would not lead the project again. The billionaire, who is the founder of electric car company Tesla, was a major donor to Trump's presidential election campaign and became a close ally and advisor to his administration. Musk led the DOGE team in seeking to slash the federal government's budget and workforce in the first 5 months of Trump's second term. But the role and his political rhetoric sparked a backlash against him and Tesla, including vandalism of Tesla cars. Musk discussed his time at the White House in a nearly hour-long podcast interview with former Trump administration aide Katie Miller that was released on December 9th. Asked if he believes DOGE was successful, Musk responded,
"We were somewhat successful. I believe the initiative stopped a lot of funding that really just made no sense and was entirely wasteful."
When Miller asked Musk would repeat his time leading the cost-cutting initiative, knowing what he knows now, he said,
"I think instead of doing DOGE, I would have basically worked in my companies, essentially."
Musk's work for DOGE also sparked concerns among investors that he was not paying enough attention to Tesla as it faced slowing sales. Later, Musk and Trump had a bit of public falling out around mid-year over the president's sweeping tax and spending bill. But there have been some signs of reconciliation. DOGE has disbanded with 8 months left to its mandate, the Office of Personnel Management Director Scott Cooper told Reuters earlier this month. DOGE claimed to have slashed tens of billions of dollars in expenditures, but it was impossible for outside financial experts to verify that because the unit did not provide detailed public accounting of its work. In an article published by the Mackinac Center for Public Policy, Executive Vice President Michael J. Wrights writes that, as of May 26th, DOGE claimed to have saved taxpayers $175 billion, a figure the organization says translates to roughly $1,087 per taxpayer. Wrights notes that independent reviews have cast doubt on those numbers, but he argues that DOGE's overall mission, maximizing federal efficiency and productivity, addressed problems that had long been evident. He points to examples of chronic waste, from vacant federal buildings consuming maintenance budgets to a $465,000 landscaping contract at Maxwell Air Force Base and a multi-million-dollar USAID grant to bring Sesame Street programming to Iraq. Wrights writes that despite broad acknowledgement of such inefficiencies, federal bureaucracy quickly proved resistant to reform, especially when spending cuts were introduced. Politics compounded the challenge. According to Wrights, Elon Musk frequently clashed with cabinet members and openly criticized President Donald Trump's signature legislative priorities, a stance that weakened his influence inside the administration. Meanwhile, protests at home unsettled lawmakers, and interest groups that relied on federal spending moved aggressively through the courts to halt layoffs and program closures. Musk's shut it all off, then decide what to turn back on approach, Wrights argues, only amplified the backlash. Wrights concludes that while DOGE critics initially lacked a unified message, they eventually rallied around a clearer argument. Waste was real, but Musk's methods were the problem. With Musk now out, he writes, assessments of DOGE legacy remain split. Still, the experiment offers enduring lessons. Know the system you aim to dismantle, question every budget line, and remember that the easiest dollar to save is the one never spent.